The Great Wall of China, a colossal serpent of stone, stretching over windswept peaks and endless plains, stands as one of humanity's most awe-inspiring achievements. From space, it appears eternal, winding through the landscape like a living memory of an empire's might. Yet behind its grandeur lies a truth far more haunting than its beauty. This wall was not merely built. It was bled into existence. Millions of hands shaped its stones, but countless lives were lost beneath them. For every brick laid, a heartbeat was silenced, turning this monument into the world's longest graveyard. The story of the Great Wall is not just one of defense, but of desperation. It was meant to keep invaders out, to guard the heart of a fragile empire from the chaos beyond. But in doing so, it consumed its own people. Soldiers, farmers, and prisoners alike were summoned to serve in its creation. Under blazing suns and freezing winds, they worked, starved, and fell. There was no honor in their deaths, no songs in their memory, only silence, sealed within the very structure they built. What was raised in the name of security became a silent testament to suffering. Yet even amidst this darkness, the wall speaks of a civilization that refused to vanish. It tells the story of a people who believed in something greater than themselves. A belief in endurance, in unity, in a legacy that would outlast centuries. Though born of pain, the wall became a bridge between the living and the dead, between history and eternity. Each stone holds a story, each shadow a whisper of those who came before. To look upon the Great Wall today is to gaze not only at an architectural wonder, but at the echo of millions who gave everything for its creation. It stands as both a warning and a remembrance. That greatness built on sacrifice carries a weight time cannot wash away. The Great Wall endures not just as a boundary of stone, but as a voice from the past, reminding us that even the mightiest achievements are written in the fragile ink of human life. The Great Wall of China stands as one of the most breathtaking monuments ever created by human hands, a colossal thread of stone and earth stretching across the spine of Asia, weaving through mountains, deserts, and plains. For centuries, it has symbolized the might, ambition, and resilience of an ancient civilization. Yet, beneath its majestic presence lies a haunting reality, one often overshadowed by its fame. Behind this wall's endurance is not just the vision of emperors, but the suffering of millions who labored, bled, and perished in its making. Each stone, perfectly aligned, bears silent witness to a human story written in pain and perseverance. What the world now sees as a marvel of architecture was once a battlefield of human endurance, where the line between glory and grief vanished into the dust of time. The wall's origins trace back to a fractured China, a time when warring states sought to defend themselves against invasions from the north. The concept was simple: build barriers to keep enemies out, but the execution demanded something monumental. When Emperor Qin Shi Huang, the first ruler of a unified China, ascended to power, he envisioned connecting and expanding these scattered fortifications into one continuous line of defense. It was an idea both brilliant and brutal. To bring it to life, he summoned an army not of soldiers, but of laborers, peasants, prisoners, slaves, and soldiers, forced to work under unforgiving conditions. Day and night, they dug through mountains, hauled heavy stones, and braved the extremes of nature, their bodies breaking long before the wall stood complete. In the emperor's quest for security, countless workers met their fate on the barren ridges of northern China. Starvation, exhaustion, and disease claimed lives faster than the wall could rise. There were no graves, no markings, no farewells. The fallen were buried where they lay, entombed within the wall itself. This grim practice, meant to conceal the scale of death, forever merged the builders with their creation. Thus, the Great Wall became more than a fortification. It became a mass grave, stretching thousands of miles, earning the haunting title, the world's longest graveyard. Today, as travelers walk its ancient paths, they marvel at its beauty, unaware of the whispers beneath their feet. The Great Wall may appear as a triumph of engineering, but at its core, it is a monument to sacrifice, a story of people who toiled not for glory, but for survival, whose names history has long forgotten. Each brick tells a tale of endurance, each tower a cry for freedom that was never heard. The wall's true legacy is not only the power it once projected, but the humanity it consumed. It reminds us that every great civilization builds its wonders not just on vision, but on the unspoken cost of the lives that made them possible. Beyond its towering beauty and legendary reputation, The Great Wall of China hides a truth steeped in sorrow, a truth that speaks not only of imperial ambition but of human endurance and suffering. For centuries, it has stood as a proud symbol of China's strength, yet beneath its stones lies the story of countless lives lost in the name of protection. The wall was not built in a single lifetime, nor by a single hand. It stretched across dynasties, demanding generations of labor, sacrifice, and submission. From the earliest walls of the warring states to the grand unification under Emperor Qin Shi Huang and later expansions. By the Han Sui and Ming dynasties, each era added its layer, not only of stone but of human tragedy. It was a defense against enemies, yes, but also a reflection of rulers willing to trade thousands of lives for the illusion of safety. The workers who built the Great Wall came from all corners of the empire. Peasants torn from their fields, prisoners of war, enslaved laborers, and soldiers condemned to toil. For them there was no honor, no reward, and no return. They were bound to a task that consumed their strength and, for many, their final breath. Working in treacherous terrain, they carved through mountains, filled valleys, and raised watchtowers under searing heat and freezing winds. The Great Wall demanded everything: food, time, life. Many died from exhaustion, starvation, or disease before even laying a stone. Others fell from cliffs, buried by landslides, or simply collapsed under the burden of their labor. There were no monuments for these men, no graves to honor their sacrifice. Instead, legend says that their bodies were buried within the wall itself, sealing their fate inside the very monument they built. Whether myth or truth, the story captures the essence of what the wall represents, a masterpiece born of pain. For the emperors who commanded it, the wall was a testament to their power, a visible boundary separating civilization from chaos. But for those who built it, it was a prison, a place where freedom and identity were stripped away. The cries of the dying were carried by the wind, echoing across the mountains, blending into the silence of the stones. What the rulers saw as protection, the workers knew as punishment. Their blood and tears became the invisible mortar holding the wall together, a hidden cost buried beneath centuries of praise. Even today, as millions visit its ancient path, few stop to consider the lives lost beneath their feet. The Great Wall's legacy is not only the endurance of empire but the endurance of humanity, of those who labored without glory so that others might sleep in peace. It stands as both triumph and tragedy, a monument that reminds us that greatness, when built on suffering, casts a shadow as long as the wall itself. Yet within the sorrow and sacrifice that gave rise to the Great Wall of China lies something profoundly human, a reflection of endurance, faith, and the unyielding spirit of a civilization determined to outlast time itself. The wall is not only a structure of defense. It is a symbol of resilience. Though it was forged in hardship, it embodies the strength of a people who believed that unity could prevail over chaos. To understand the Great Wall is to glimpse into the very soul of ancient China, a nation that built barriers not just of stone, but of purpose, belief, and legacy. It teaches us that while ambition may demand suffering, the will to create something lasting, something meaningful, can transform tragedy into triumph. The wall's silent expanse tells stories that words alone cannot. Stretching over mountains and deserts, it links the earth to the heavens, reminding us of the power of collective determination. Generations of builders, though forgotten by name, live on through their creation. They may have perished in isolation, far from home, but together they achieved the impossible, a monument that transcended their lifetimes. Through their toil, the empire not only defended its borders but defined its identity. For ancient China, the wall was more than a boundary. It was a declaration, a statement of unity, of a civilization's strength to endure invasion, turmoil, and time itself. Even as dynasties crumbled and empires fell, the wall remained, whispering through the ages that endurance is the truest form of power. And yet, the wall also carries a moral weight. It challenges us to reflect on what endures when ambition fades. The emperors who ordered its construction sought to leave behind monuments of greatness, but they, like all rulers, turned to dust. The laborers who gave their lives were nameless in history, yet it is their hands that shaped eternity. The Great Wall stands not because of the commands of kings, but because of the faith and effort of those who believed, even without choice, that their work mattered. In that sense, it is not merely a symbol of imperial might, it is a testament to the common human soul. to the countless lives whose silent strength carved permanence out of pain. Today, when travelers stand atop its ancient stones, gazing across endless horizons, they are not only seeing the legacy of emperors, but feeling the heartbeat of generations past. The wall's presence is both humbling and inspiring. It reminds us that greatness is never the result of one vision alone, but of countless acts of endurance and sacrifice. Its shadow may stretch long and dark, yet within that shadow lies light, the truth that even in suffering, humanity can create beauty that time cannot erase. The Great Wall endures not as a monument of power, but as a living memory, a voice from the past, reminding all who behold it that from pain can rise something eternal.